Knowles on the News. Susan Knowles.
So were you like me and you got suckered into watching the GOP debate on Saturday? Yeah, I say suckered in because about halfway through it, I thought to myself, you know what? This is agonizing. It's like going to the dentist's office and being under the drill for a really, really long period of time. And it's starting to be that I've heard everything that these people have said, and we're just hearing it over and over, although it's getting a little bit more entertaining. It was kind of unfortunate to watch Dr. Ben Carson. In the very beginning, it just was not a good start. He didn't hear his name called. He stood around kind of waiting for an announcement, somebody to introduce him. And people were like trying to, okay, Dr. Carson, going out there. And he's like, no, I'm not going out there. You haven't called my name. And then people kept passing him like, gosh, sorry, Ben, but they've called my name. I've got to go on out. See you out there. And even Donald Trump, it wasn't a good start for him because he didn't hear his name either. And he goes out there and he stands next to Ben Carson. And at the very end, when everybody's like, okay, guys, come on out now. We're getting ready to start here and you're not here. Ben Carson finally went on out when they said, Dr. Carson and Donald Trump, being true to who Donald Trump is like, I'm not going to share the stage or the limelight with anybody. He waited until Ben Carson had gone out there, and then he waited until they called his name. So he had to make a special appearance. He's getting his money's worth. That's all I can say. And it was kind of interesting. Chris Christie, I don't like his policies. Yes, I know that you're a federal prosecutor or a former one. I know that, Chris. You don't have to keep telling me over and over. But while I don't like his policies, what I really did like and really did appreciate, which brought a little humor to the agony for me, was watching him just tear into Rubio. I mean, it was like, okay, listen to Rubio. He's got this speech down pat. He's rehearsed it. He knows what he wants to say. It's all about Obama. Let's listen to him. Press a button, press play, and you'll hear the Rubio speech. And he was right. 4 times he gave the same speech, really, about Obama. It was kind of sad to watch. And it really wasn't the normal style of Rubio, because normally Rubio's on, he's going, he's got it all down pat, and it doesn't sound as rehearsed. I mean, you can tell some of the parts all the candidates have rehearsed. But tonight was kind of different. And Rubio looked weak tonight in certain parts. It was just like, okay, Chris, you've come at me so much, I don't know what else to say. You've got me off what I've rehearsed here. What am I going to do? So it was kind of funny in that way. Kasich, on the other hand, he came out. I really, to be honest with you, some of the things when he was talking, I think I just went someplace else because it was just too much. But I mean, he handled himself well and he talked well. I would never vote for him, waiting for him to get out, but still, he handled himself pretty well. And there was only one point when Jeb, why he continues to do this, I just don't understand. But he challenged Trump, and they kind of went back and forth, the little two boys going back and forth again. And it was odd, but every time Jeb started to talk, he would really almost, not stutter, but he couldn't say a complete sentence without almost repeating the first letters of each word. I mean, it was like a stumbling over the letters of the words. It was just kind of odd. I don't know if he was nervous or whatever. I really don't know. And then every time it would go to Dr. Carson, and I like Dr. Carson. I don't think, in the beginning I liked him as a presidential candidate, not anymore for me. But I still like him, and I think there's a place for him in the next administration. I really do. But every time it went to him tonight, it was a complaint, a whine. It was really bad. Now, I know that what happened in Iowa is really setting him back, and I can see that he's off his game. And also, he had a volunteer, I believe, that was killed while he was campaigning for Dr. Carson. So I get it. It's not been an easy road for him over the last week, but he has to quit complaining. He has to move on. The American people, while they sympathize and maybe empathize with what happened to him, the American people are looking at the bigger picture. Okay, we want to know more about how are you going to deal with ISIS? What are you going to do with the economy? On and on and on. And we just weren't getting there. And I think, Ted explained it. People may not believe Ted. I don't know where the truth lies, but we've got to move past that. Ted apologized. It's not illegal what was done. Let's move on. And I think all sides will probably be more careful. But it made Ben Carson just stand out more, and not in a good way. And I know I was tweeting with people and everybody else was tweeting, and they were basically agreeing with me. It wasn't going too well for Ben Carson at all. And as far as Cruz is concerned, I think he did fine. Most of the people there did pretty well. Like I said, there were standouts that didn't do well, like Carson. Rubio didn't do as well as he normally does. And Jeb, well, what can you say about Jeb? But everybody else did. They did okay. It's okay. But I'm seeing that each one of these debates now, it's the same thing over and over. I'm not learning anything new. I'm hearing people say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but not giving specifics. And maybe that's because they just don't want to give specifics at this time. I don't know. But it's getting very boring. And I know we have more coming up. And I just want to hear something different. I want to hear a reason to continue watching these debates with all these people. And I want people to get out. Ben Carson says he's not getting out. Jeb is probably not going to get out either. We've got to thin the herd. We need to move on. We need to see who our main people are and start weeding out the others, whether they want to go or not. It's time for some to leave. Until next time, it's Susan Knowles with Knowles on the News.